So in today's session, I'll be teaching you about the calculations of the goodwill. This is the formula that you use when you calculate goodwill. Contributions of the new partner, the partner that is admitted, multiplied by the inverse of the new partner's ratio. What do you mean by inverse of the ratio? If the original ratio is 1/5, the inverse will be 5/1. So in other words, you reciprocate the ratio. If the ratio is 1/2, the inverse of 1/2 is 2/1. Okay, then that would give you a total amount. Then from total amount, you minus the total equity for all partners, including the new partner. Then you will get your goodwill. Okay. So on my left screen, I have examples, and on my right, I have solutions. But now I want us to do this step by step. Okay, with example 1, we are given information that relates to Tapsile and Mike, who are trading as Tammy traders. They are in a partnership and they're sharing the profit and loss equally. Equally means 1/2, or you divide whatever profit or loss that they make by 2. Okay, now if you look at this information where it says Tapsil and Mike decided to admit Dinero from the 1st of August. Dinero will contribute 50,000 cash and a vehicle worth 86,000 to acquire a fifth of the net asset share of the partnership. So Dinero's ratio in this partnership will be 1/5. That's the meaning of a fifth, 1/5. Okay, I think there's a message. Slow, you're running fast. Okay, sorry about that. Then it says Tabisil and Mike agreed. Okay, we do not need this information. And the last one says all other assets were valued before admitting Dinero to the partnership at a valuation loss of 28,000, and it was correctly calculated. Okay, so with step number 1, I said the total amount of the new partner after the inverse. So we need to calculate the total amount of the new partner, which is Dinero. Dinero will contribute 50,000 as cash and again 86,000. So what will be the total contribution of Dinero? You add 80,000 plus 50,000, I get 100 and, is it 136 or 130? Is it 86,000 plus?
136.
136,000.
Thank you very much, 136. Okay, so I'm gonna try and be slow. Step number 1, I said total amount of the new partner after an inverse. Okay, so this is the table that you're gonna use. There's contribution of the new partner, which is the total amount that we've just worked out, 136,000. Multiply by the inverse of their ratio. What is the inverse of 1/5? Remember, I said a fifth is 1/5. Okay, let me just write it here. So her ratio in this business is 1/5. Now, if we want to reciprocate 1/5, it should be 5/1. Is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay, so that's the inverse of 1/5, 5/1. Okay, now how much is 136,000 times 5 divide 1?
680.
680,000. Okay.
Yes.
Step number 2, total equity for all partners. We are done with step number 1, where we wanted to work the total amount of the new partner. Total amount of the new partner after inverse. Okay, after we reciprocated the ratio. Okay, so we got 680,000 rand. Let me highlight that. 680,000. All right. Step 2, we want to know the total equity for all partners, including the new partner. Remember, we've worked out Dineo's total amount as 136,000. This is the 136,000, not the amount after an invest. The 136,000 and not 680,000. Okay. Now for Topsile, you have capital of 84,000. You have the current account of, let me check, 20,000. Sorry. And we have a revaluation loss that needs to be shared amongst the partners. And if you look at the information, it says the partners are sharing profits and losses equally. Now, what will be the share of Thabisile from the 28,000 loss? Anyone?
It will be 14,000.
14,000, that's correct. So because it's a loss, it needs to be recorded in brackets. 14,000 of a loss. So this 14,000 will also be recorded. All right. Yes, Amo?
Hi, good evening, sir. Am I missing something? Because we are busy calculating and screaming out the answers, but I'm not too sure if you are jotting something down somewhere because I cannot see that on the screen.
Is there anyone who also have the same problem? Okay, sorry about that. Guys, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, all right. Now, it's a loss of 14,000 each because why? Partners share profit and loss equally. Okay, I think there was a question as to, oh, okay.
How did you get the 14,000?
Yes, how did I get 14,000? So how did I get 14,000?
Even the capital, you wrote 840, or wasn't it supposed to be 84,000?
Yes, there's an extra zero, 84,000. Okay, thank you. So how did I get 14,000? Let's look at the information on the left. It says all other assets were valued before admitting Dineo to the partnership at a valuation loss of 28,000. So partners share profits and losses equally. Now, if we want to split this loss amongst the partners, it should be 28,000 divided 2. So that's where I got 14,000. Okay. And the capital for Mike is also 84,000. And the current account is also 20,000. Okay. Now let's work out the total equity. 84,000 plus 20,000 minus 14,000. How much do you get?
$90,000.
So it's 90,000 each. Okay.
Yes.
90,000 and 90,000 on this side. Now, how much is 180,000 plus 136? 90 plus 90 plus 136.
$316,000.
360.
316.
316. Thank you very much. Okay. We are done with step number 2. What was the aim of step 2? We wanted to work out the total equity for all partners. So we have 136,000 of Dineo 50,000 plus 86,000 of the capital contribution. Dineo does not have capital in current account and she would not receive the revaluation loss since a valuation was made before she was admitted. So Dineo's contribution into the business is 136,000. So the very same amount we've used here will be recorded here. You're not going to use this total amount because this is a total amount after an invest was made. Okay. Now we have capital of Tabisile. It's 84,000. We added with the current account of 20,000 since they are both credited, they will be added. Now this is a loss we need to minus. Okay, how did we get 14,000, 14,000? The last sentence on this information says that all other assets were revalued before admitting Dineo to partnership and the valuation loss of 28,000. Okay, so 28 divided to 14,000. Okay, we are done with step 1. We are done with step 2. Let's look at step number 3. Step number 3 says the total amount of the new partner.
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Before we proceed, how do we know that we need to divide that 28,000 divided by 2?
Okay, let's look at the information on the top. On your left, it says Tabisile and Mike are in a partnership trading as, okay, what's happening to my screen? I hope you can see my screen. Is it back now?
Yes.
Now it says the partners are sharing profits and losses equally.
Okay.
Now, Muzi, tell me, if we have a profit of 50,000 and as per the partnership agreement, we agreed that we need to share the profit equally. How much will one partner receive?
25,000.
25,000 because we are splitting the profit equally. So it's 50,000 divided 2. Okay.
Equally.
Equally, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Now,
Thanks a lot for that.
all right, perfect. If there are no further questions, allow me to go step number 3. Step 3, the total amount of the new partner after invest minus the total equity. That means step 1 minus step 2. What is the total amount of step number 1? It's 680. 680. What is the amount of step number 2? It's 316,000. How did we get 316,000? This is the total of partners. We got 90,000 for Tapsile. We got 90,000 for Mike. And we got 136 for Dineo. Okay. So step 1 minus step number 2. 68 minus 316 will give us the goodwill. What is the answer?
364,000.
364, which is
Thousand.
option number 2. Okay. Now let's do this one more time. Okay. I said on this screen, this is the formula that you need to use to work out the goodwill. Contributions of the new partner multiplied by the inverse of the new partner's ratio. Okay. The new partner's ratio, the inverse of the new partner's ratio, I said that if the partner will be given 1/5 or 1/3, let's use 1/3 as an example. 1/3 is 1/3. So when you reciprocate 1/3, it should be 3/1. If the ratio is 1/2, when you reciprocate, it should be 2/1. If it's 3/5, 5/3. If it's 4/7, 7/4. Then that will give you the total amount. Okay. Total amount minus by the total equity for all partners will give us the goodwill. All right. So this is what we did on example number 1. We're given information of Tapsil and Mike. They admitted Dineo, who will contribute 50,000 and 86,000 to acquire a 5th A fifth means 1/5. So in step one, we calculated the new partners, the total amount of the new partner after an invest. Okay, we took 50,000, added with 86, and this is the contribution of the new partner. Then multiply by the invest. What is the invest? 5/1. Because remember, the original ratio is a fifth, 1/5. So when you reciprocate, it should give you 5/1. We got 680,000. Then step number two, we wanted to know the total equity for all partners. Bear in mind that the contribution, the total equity for the new partner is 136. So it was simple for us to record 136 because we calculated in step number one. Okay, now with Tabisile, there's capital, there's current account, and there's a revaluation loss of 14,000. How did we get 14,000? The last sentence says that after evaluation was made, a loss was determined, and now it needs to be shared amongst the partners because they share every profit and loss equally. This 28,000 will be divided by 2. 28,000 divided 2, Tabisile will get a loss of 14. Mike will get a loss of 14,000 as well. All right. If it was a profit, then we would have added this revaluation profit. But now because it's a loss, we need to minus. All right. So 90,000 plus 90 plus 136, it's 316. When you go to step number 3, it should be simple because you would take this amount, 680 minus 316, then it will take you straight to your goodwill. Now, let's look at example number 2. If there are no questions, example number 2, we're still going to apply the very same steps. Step 1, the total amount of the new partner after an invest. All right. Okay. Information number 4, on the 1st of August, Shuri was admitted to the partnership and contributed how much? 75,000 worth of capital and 50,000 for a 1/5 share of profit. Now, I want to ask students, what will be the inverse of 1/5?
5/1.
It should be 5/1. That's the inverse, 5/1. How much will Shuri contribute? Number 1, 75,000, and how much? And 15,000. So all in all, it should be 90,000 if I'm not mistaken. Okay. 75 plus 15 is equals to 90. What is the total amount? 90,000 multiplied by 5 divided by 1. How much do you get?
It's 450.
150,000.
450,000.
Yes.
Okay, we are done with step number 1. We have worked out the total amount of the new partner after an invest. Now let's quickly go to step number 2, where you need to determine total equity for all partners. With the new partner, it should be how much? 90,000. Sorry, where am I recording this? It should be 90,000. Okay, let's go back to example number 1. Remember, this was the 136 we took from here, 136, and we recorded here. Okay, same apply here, 90,000 will be transferred here since this is Shuri's total equity. What about Nakia? Do we have capital for Nakia? Yes, it's given as 120,000. Do we have the current account for Nakia? Yes, it's given as 30,000. Now, I said here there's revaluation gain because on information on question 1, you were asked to work out the revaluation surplus or deficit, and the answer was 90,000. If you still remember on our lesson for valuation, so we have worked out the revaluation gain as 90,000. Now we need to split this 90,000. How are we going to split this 90,000? The information says here, Nakia and Koye are in partner in Wakanda traders sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2 respectively. That means Nakia will get 3 of the total portion, and the total portion is 5. Why 5? 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. Okay, so when we split 90,000, we're going to say 90,000 multiply 3/5. And this will give us how much?
54,000.
54,000. When we split for Okoye, we're going to say 90,000 multiply 2/5. And this is how much?
36,000.
36,000. Thank you very much. Okay. Now let's go back to Nakia. How much is 120,000 plus 30,000 plus 54,000? Now check. This is a gain. This is a surplus. It's more like a profit. There are no brackets, but with the first example, because it was a loss, then we need to put bracket. But if it's a gain or surplus, it should be positive. All right. Total amount for Nakia,
204,000.
like this, 204,000.
Yes.
Okay, for Okoye, you have capital of 90,000. You have current account of 20,000. Thank you very much. And you have the revaluation gain of 36,000. How do you get total equity? 90,000 plus 20,000 plus 36,000.
It's 146,000.
How much?
146,000.
146,000. Okay, we are done with step number 2. We need to sum up the total of the equity. Okay. Okay. Let me add here. Below. How much is 204 plus 146 plus 90,000?
440,000.
440,000, but I heard someone saying it's 400,000. Is it 440 or 400?
440.
440,000.
440,000.
Now, check what's going to happen. I'm going to highlight the total amount we got from step 1. Okay. Use green, and amount we got on step number 2. What will be the goodwill? Can anyone help us calculate the goodwill?
$10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
10,000. That's correct. How did they get 10,000? Total amount of the new partner after an invest was 450,000. Total amount of the equity we got 440,000. So if you say 450 minus 440, it should give you a goodwill of 10,000 rands. The total equity for Nakia is 204.
Option 2.
And then for Okoye, it's 146,000. And for Shuri, it was 90,000. Are there any questions? Why is it 90,000 times 2/3 for Okoye? Okay, I think I said 2/5. 90,000 times 2/5. Okay, let's go back to the information here. It says they share a ratio. They share profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2 respectively. Respectively means that Nakia will get 3, Okoye will get 2. Now, the whole portion is 5. How did we get 5? 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. If the ratio is 1:3, the total portion, the denominator, will be 4. Okay, so you add your ratio. 3 is to 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. 1 is to 4, 5. Okay. I hope Hanand, you are answered. If not, please let me know. So the correct answer is option 2.
I still don't understand.
Okay, what is it that you don't understand?
Sorry, I'm still lost.
Okay, what confuses you?
I don't know. I'm still confused. Okay, I'm still confused as to how we got to multiply Nakia's 90,000 by 3/5, but then Okoye was 2/3, but then the ratio was 3:2.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no, I got it now.
Okay, no.
But isn't it that the ratio was changed to 5:3:2? I don't know.
Okay, this was after Shuri was admitted, but remember that Shuri will not get this revaluation gain because revaluation is made before the partner is admitted. So Shuri is just new in this business. So when we split the revaluation surplus, we will use the old ratio. But going forward, we will use 532. Okay, because we have another partner. So we are using this ratio because when determining the revaluation surplus or loss, you use the old ratio. Okay. Hanan, I hope you are answered. Okay. I'm still waiting for Hanan.
Yes, please, I'm answered. Thank you.
Others, are we still together?
I'm not.
Yes.
Lost. I'm sorry. I'm not with you. I'm lost.
Okay, where?
Because
yeah.
you're saying the Nakia, it's 90,000
Yes, I'm
times
answered.
times
Yes.
3/5.
Yes.
Okay. Then with okay, you say it's times 2/5. I don't understand how the ratio works because I thought it was supposed to be 3/5 for both of them.
Okay, now it cannot be 3/5 for both of them because they are not sharing profits and losses equally. They are using this ratio, 3/2. So from whatever profits that they gonna make, Nakia will get 3 and Okoye will get 2. All right. So with the first example,
Where do you get that? I'm sorry to interject, but where do you see that? But
okay, let me just highlight. Use this color. I hope you can see the highlighted part orange. Okay, I think I should. Okay. Now, say for example, this is partner A, partner with partner. This is partner A, and this is partner B. Now they enter into partnership and they decide to share profit in this ratio 2/3. Okay, let me use 1/3. 1 is to 3. Okay. If the profit, for example, if the profit is 60,000, how are we going to share this profit amongst partners? Now for partner A, this is how we're going to share the profit. We'll say 60,000 multiply, remember, 1 goes to partner A, 3 goes to partner B. Okay, so I would say 1/4. Where did we get 4? 1 plus 1 is equals to, sorry, 1 plus 3 is equals to 4.
The rest was gone.
With partner B, this is how we're gonna share their profit. 60,000 multiply 3/4, because the ratio is 1:3. This is for partner A in brackets A, and this is for partner B. Now, coming back to this example, it says Nakia and Okoye are partners in Wakanda Traders, sharing profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2. That means Nakia will get 3, Okoye will get 2. Okay. So if the first partner that is mentioned in the sentence will get the first variable, and the second will get the second variable. Because Nakia was mentioned first, and the information says respectively, meaning that Nakia will get the first variable, which is 3, and Okoye will get the second variable, which is 2. But how do we work out the profit? We need to add both variables in order to work out the denominator. Yes, the denominator. Okay, so 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. Hence why here we said this is a revaluation surplus. This is a revaluation gain. So 3 divided by 5. And then for Okoye, it's 2 divided by 5. All right. I think there's another question. So we will only be able to calculate goodwill only if there's a new partner. Yes, that's true. Okay, because we need the inverse of the new partner. Now, if there are no questions, let's look at example number 3. We will apply the very same steps. Okay. Dumisan and Chablana in partnership trading as DJ. Okay. Let me check if I calculated. All right. Now, the question says, assume that the correct revaluation amounted to 35,000. Which one of the alternatives represent the correct amount of the goodwill after the admission of Moses? Okay. Now, in your next assignment, the first question will be calculate the revaluation surplus or loss. The next question will be the goodwill. Okay, so they know that you would need the revaluation surplus or gain in order to work out the goodwill. All right. Now, this one is different from the other examples we did, because if you look at the trial balance, we have the revaluation reserve. So if you see the revaluation reserve on your table, then it needs to be shared amongst the partners, and it will be treated positive. All right. But now let's start with step number 1. Let's look at the contributions made by the new partner. What does the information say? Number 1, additional information number 1, I'm looking at this sentence that starts with Moses would contribute a vehicle worth 150,000, catering equipment worth 15,000 and 40,000 cash, and thereby acquire a third interest in the equity. What is the meaning of a third? How do you express a third in terms of ratios?
1/3.
It's 1/3. What will be the inverse of 1/3?
3/1.
3/1.
3/1. Okay. So the contributions made by Moses will be 150,000. And how much? Let's just add equipment and cash. It should be 55,000. but let me do them separate. 15,000, I'll add another column below. All right, 15,000 plus 40,000. And the total should be how much?
Or 5,000.
205,000.
205,000. Where do we record this 205,000 again? Where will we
Under
record?
Moses.
Total equity for the new partner.
Exactly,
Moses.
205 under Moses. This is 205. So after working out the contribution of the new partner, quickly transfer to the total equity. Now, what is the total amount? 205 multiplied 3 over 1. Sorry?
615,000.
615,000.
615,000.
Yes.
Okay, we are done with step number 1. Step number 2, the total equity for all partners. We're going to start with the capital for Dumsani. I see 140,000. The current account is debited. Debited means it should be in brackets because it's unfavorable. If your bank balance is debited, it means it's negative. Okay, so this is 30,000 negative. We have a revaluation reserve. Check on the table after current account of Javlani. You have a revaluation reserve of 21,400. 21,400 multiply. Let's look at the ratio, the old ratio. Now it's 3:2. Can we all see 3:2? Dumisan and Javlani are in partnership trading as DJ Events Management Services with a profit sharing ratio of 3:2 respectively. Okay, so that would mean Dumsane will get 3 over what? What is
Over 5.
over 5? Where did we get 5? 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. So the revaluation reserve for this partner will be how much?
128.
12,840.
12,840. Yes.
Okay, 12,840. And for this one, times 2 over 5.
8,560.
80,000.
8,560. 8,560.
You sound so tired. Okay, but I understand it's 9. Okay, 8,560. Okay, we fine. Let's look at the gain information. The question said, assume that the correct revaluation gain. So this is a gain. It should be positive. It's 35,000. So this is how we're going to share amongst the partners. 35,000 times 3 over 5. And again for this one, 35,000 times 2 over 5. Okay, how much do you get for Dumsani?
21,000.
21,000. And then for Chablani?
14,000.
14,000. Thank you very much. 14,000. Okay, the capital for Jabulani, let's look at the table. The capital for Jabulani is given as 130,000, if I'm not mistaken. And his current account is marked CR. That means it's positive. So I'd have positive 35,000. Okay. So what's new about this example? You have a new item, which is a revaluation reserve that lies on the table. So if you have a revaluation reserve, then you need to split amongst the partners as per the old ratio. Okay. So now let's sum up the equity of partners. 140,000 minus 30,000 plus 12,840 plus 21,000.
143,840.
840. And then this one, 130,000 plus 35,000 plus 8,560 plus 14,000.
187,560.
187
560.
560.
Zero.
So what should be the total of for equity for all partners?
536,400.
536,400. Now,
Yes, please.
who can tell us the correct answer of the goodwill?
It's 78,600, option 1.
Option 1. So remember with step number 3, I said, take the amount you got from step 1 minus. So this is step 1, total amount of step 1, the amount you got from step number 1. Then you minus the amount you got from step number 2, step 2. So once you're done with step 1 and 2, then it will be simple for you to work out step 3 because the formula is step 1 minus step number 2. So you need to be extra careful on step number 2 because most students would not see the revaluation reserve. Okay. So once you see revaluation reserve on the table, then you split it as per the agreed proportion. Okay. That's it for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.